all. You can probably see this very easily, but Rabbi Carey unfortunately is sick tonight and is not able to join us. She has an upper respiratory block going on. So Avi and I will be leading the service. We want to say a big mazel tov to Avi and to his family who are here tonight to celebrate his bar mitzvah Shabbat. So 10 o'clock tomorrow morning if you would like to come. And we're just so happy to see this sanctuary filled with all of you. And if people come in, just let them know there's plenty of seats all around, help people find their spots if they come in. And just gonna launch right in. Today, beautiful days, we're nearing summer solstice, Juneteenth, poetry Shabbat, Avi's bar mitzvah, so many things in all of our hearts. And I realized as I was thinking about Juneteenth this year that one of the things that I appreciate about this time, marking the end of slavery in the United States, is that it is not only a commemoration of suffering and struggle, but it's also a celebration filled with music, food, family, storytelling, laughter, and dance. There is delight that is woven into the observance of Juneteenth. This is not meant to be an escape from history, but a declaration that freedom is meant to be lived. So as we observe Juneteenth tonight, as we welcome the abundance that the summer solstice brings, and as we gather for our annual Poetry Shabbat, we give ourselves the space to reflect and to delight in the beauty, in language, in one another, and in the gift of being fully alive in this moment. Because delight, which is the theme of this Poetry Shabbat, is not a distraction from the work of freedom and justice in this, especially in this time that we have descended into in our country and in our world. Delight is one of the reasons we do the work in the first place. So on this longest day weekend, let us use the light we've been given to see more clearly, to love more deeply, and let us savor the words of freedom that are embedded in the words our poets will share tonight. May all of this light, which I am being blinded by in the moment, but may all of this light inspire us to help build a world in which freedom and dignity and joy belong to every single person. How good it is to be together on this light-filled Shabbat. A little less light now, but that's okay. Hinei matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hinei matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Hello. I have a poem called The Piano Improvisation. And a few of you know the pianist who is in the poem. My plan was the sort of feverish notion that comes only in a dream. I thought I would listen to radio news and compress the punditry, the pronouncements, the battleground antagonists into simple verse. and I would write the text onto a musical staff where each line danced to melodies and chords. My son would then render the score in contrapuntal voices like a jazz pianist or continuo player, expertly embellishing my themes like the jaunty tremolos with which he rips through Alvarado del Gracioso. In a giddy moment, I thought he would join with me. I was happy to see him clasp enlightenment in the grip of his broad hands, enfold in rapt pulses, the crowds responding in tears to his variations in gossamer and bronze. But waking, I thought, no, how misguided to hope of recasting a newscaster's drone. Then I grasped the real meaning of the dream, to harbor trust in some undefiled glen within the mind, where everyone would cease impulsive motion and pause to hear the billows that sweep all motions together and contemplate the final vibrations of an unrancored music nestled in a valley of bells.
This is such a great night. We would love to ask Avi's family to come up to join him in lighting our Shabbat candles. If you have a prayer book, it is on page 1.
So this is a poem called May All the World Be Clothed in Light by George Hitchcock. I first turned down the page on this poem in an anthology when I was 16 years old, but it seems to stand up. Morning spreads over the beaches like lava. The waves lie still. They glitter with pieces of light. I stand at the window and watch a heron on one leg. Its plumage white in the green banks of mint. Behind me, smoke rises from a nest of bricks. The brass clock on the kitchen shelf judges and spares. Slowly, the bird opens its dazzling wings. I am filled with joy. The fields are awake. The fields with their hidden lizards and fire of new iris.
Continue with the words of Maya Fe Hayom. How beautiful this Shabbat is, page 2. Maya Fe Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fe Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. next poet will be joining us on Zoom. Before she does, can I just ask, are there still seats available next to you, Marcy? I don't think we need any reserved seats. Everybody's here. So if people are coming in, there's 3 seats here, and we've got 1 in the front. So, and there's 1 next to you, Steve. Is that right? Great. All right. Great. So if you were looking for a seat, we've got plenty.
Okay.
Marina, we are ready.
Okay. So, do I start?
Yep.
Okay. The gentle tambourine. I can hear the rain, a gentle tambourine. Drop, 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 a stubborn melody. Today, I do not feel I am a drop of rain. Today, I feel I am a lump warm under the covers. I'm just a witness today, just a spectator. I could sit like this, listening to the raindrops for a long, long time, listening to their music, longing to be the rain, the gentle tambourine.
There are many things that I love about our Friday night services. Sometimes the unexpected phrase that opens up the heart, sometimes somebody that can just say something to you in passing that you really needed to hear, a prayer that speaks to how you're feeling. And one of my very favorite things is learning what people's favorite songs and readings are, and that I'm always so pleasantly surprised to find out when somebody says, you know, I really like that specific setting of something, and I hold that in my heart. So I found out just very recently that Lecha Dodi is one of Avi's favorite prayers, and so we turned to page 11 in our prayer books, if you have a prayer book, and we welcome in that spirit of Shabbat, that expansiveness, that light. And sometimes before we chant these words, sing these words together, I think about, what do I need from this Shabbat right now? Like what kind of peacefulness or spaciousness or letting go of something maybe that's troubling me? What do I want to make room for this Shabbat? So we'll chant stanzas 1, 2, 5, and 9. When we get to that last stanza, we'll rise in body or spirit and face the back of the sanctuary, welcoming in that presence of Shabbat that we need tonight. Lechan Dodi Likrat Kalai Alalai Alalai Ala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Yaela Elai Lechan Dodi Likrat Kalai Alalai Alalai Ala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad hishme'anu el hameyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shemo l'tiferet v'litila lechan dodi likrat kalai alalai alalai ala b'nei Shabbat nekabela yaela elai lechan dodi likrat kalai alalai alalai ala b'nei Shabbat nekabela oh likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcham ki hi mekor habaracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila lechan dodi likrat kalai alalai alalai ala b'nei Shabbat nekabela yaela Shabbat nekavela. Oh, Bo'i v'shalom ateret bala, gam v'simcha u'b'tzohala, toch emunei am segula. Bo'i kala, lechandori likrat kala, yalala, yalala, yalla, b'nei Shabbat nekavela, yayla, yayla, lechandori likrat kala, yalala, yalala, yalla, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. And remaining standing, we turn to Debbie Mendez and her family, and to Bonnie Alpert, right behind her there, who have entered the sanctuary for the first time after a loss. We are remembering Florence, Debbie's mother, and we are remembering Nathan, Bonnie's husband. May you find yourselves held by the place, hamakom, that holds us all, held by memory, by community, by love, and by the sacred presence that remains even when words are hard to find. May the one who dwells in every place hold you gently, sustain you, and bring you both comfort in the days ahead. Please join me in these traditional words of comfort. You'll find them at the bottom of page 12 or up on the screens. Hamakom yinachem etchem betoch sha'ar avelei Zion v'Yerushalayim. May God's presence comfort you among all the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. And we continue with the words of the Chatzi Kaddish on page 15.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba.
Amen.
Ba'alma divura chirute v'amlich malchute.
B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye decho Beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv.
V'imeru.
Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach, le'alam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudashah
Brichu.
le'ela min kol birchata v'shirchata.
Tush bechata v'nechemata, damiran ba'alma.
Ve'imeru.
Amen. And turning to page 16, far right column, in the middle of that bolded column, Baruch Hu, dear one.
Baruch Hu,
Baruch Hu,
dear one,
dear one.
Shekhinah,
Shekhinah,
holy name,
holy name.
when I call on the light of my soul, I come home. Baruch Hu,
Baruch Hu,
dear one,
dear one.
Shekhinah,
Shekhinah,
holy name,
holy name.
when I call on the light of my soul,
I come home.
Baruch Hu,
Baruch Hu,
dear one,
dear one.
Shekhinah,
Shekhinah,
holy name,
holy name.
when I call on the light of my soul, I come
tasir mimenu leolamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Please be seated.
Hi there. All right. This is called Tree Nut Gum, Fire, and Honey, which refers to how they make the ink used to write the Torah. I gather sparks from broken pots, leaking light into the world. I search forgotten places, mountains of refuse, dirt, and dust. I sing a very old song when I lie down and get up, a recipe written on lambskin with tree nut gum, fire, and honey, hung on a door frame in a tube painted with pomegranates, hidden in a 4-chambered leather box bound between the eyes, held by a strap wound 7 times around the arm nearest the heart, wrapped in the wool of young sheep woven on a loom of olive wood, fringed with knots carefully tied 613 times to the corners of the world. Thank you.
And I'm thinking, let's applaud in our hearts for I know we all want to, but let's let the light shine from us in our appreciation. We continue with the words of Ve'ahavta on page 18. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavecha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadavarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha Hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'lechtecha v'derech, uv'shoftecha uv'kumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, V'hayu letotafot bein einecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'yitem kedoshim lelohehem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lihiot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
This poem is called The Early Bird, and it's by Ted Kuzer. Still dark and raining hard on a cold May morning, and yet the early bird is out there chirping its sweet, sour, wooden pulley notes, pleased it would seem to be given work, hauling the heavy bucket of dawn up from the darkness, note over note, and letting us drink.
words of Mi Chamocha on page 21. Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot, Oseh Felem, Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot, Oseh Felem, Oseh Felem.
Ooh, look at that. Hi, everybody. I am not a poet. I'm a sporadic poetry reader, and I found this one in a pile of papers that I had in a folder labeled Poetry and Miscellaneous. So here we go. It's called St. Francis and the Sow by Galway Kinnell, who's actually not an Irish poet. He's an American poet, born in Providence in 1927, died in 2014. So the bud stands for all things, even for those things that don't flower, for everything flowers from within of self-blessing. Though sometimes it is necessary to reteach a thing its loveliness, to put a hand on its brow of the flower and retell it in words and in touch, it is lovely until it flowers again from within of self-blessing. As St. Francis put his hand on the creased forehead of the sow and told her in words and in touch, blessings of earth on the sow, and the sow began remembering all down her thick length, from the earthen snout all the way through the fodder and the slops to the spiritual curl of the tail, from the hard spininess spiked out from the spine, down through the great broken heart to the sheer blue milken dreaminess, spurting and shuddering from the 14 teats into the 14 mouths, sucking and blowing beneath them the long, perfect loveliness of sow.
Dan, I don't want to be greedy with the light, but I do feel like we're going to get a gorgeous sunset out there. I think we're out of the glare. Turn to page 22. For the last blessing of the Shema Hashkivenu. May there be a sukkah of peace spread out all over this world. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Ushmor tzeitenu Yeah, Sarah, you're all set.
This is my friend Roberta. She's here for the weekend and to come here tonight. And she's a friend from writing circles. So I've known her for a very long time. And she's going to read.
Thank you, Sarah, and it's really lovely to be here. It's been probably about 8 years since I last was with you all here.
Would you like to move over here? You don't have to. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so I want to just say that the solstice is a special time of the year for me. I have followed many different religious traditions, but the Native American tradition always stays with me because it starts with the winter and dreaming life forward, and then it gets planted into the ground and tended as a small, tender shoot. And then from there, it grows and becomes in its fullness. And this poem is honoring that fullness in all of us as we move into the solstice and the summer season. It's called On Mexican Yams. I am the fecundity of a marigold and flowering broccoli in the gardens. I am the flow of a watery stream running off the clay vase made fountain. I am stillness, drinking in the sun. I am the warrior, slicing, protecting. I am the roaring lion, fiercely sounding out to an American culture devouring the children. I am one half, one pole, one side. In the coolness I rock. Waters shift gently within. I am a silent prayer for life. No longer between hips, but in the worldwide mother. I am of her. My vessel is she. It is bigger and more beautiful than all of time and space. She is my estrogen, my Mexican yam. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to the short microphone. This poem is called Like a Prayer, and some people may have heard it with a different title, so don't worry if it's familiar. Like a prayer, I listen to the wind of my soul, and that's Cat Stevens. Please, permission to escape into the smaller world, the bigger world, pulse and breath of the day, movement in my body, space around me, snow, light on the snow, wind in my soul. Like a prayer, I guess, this listening, this not wanting to hear chaos, but instead to feel treasure, touch in, settle. And it's hard to discern the difference between denial and self-care. The need for both sometimes in the busyness of the day, actually not so busy. It's the uncertainty and vigilance I need a break from. Sometimes denial is like a warm blanket, keeping out the relentless. I turn on the news, find out what I need to know, or I sit within the blanket, listen to the wind.
Tonight we'll do a silent Amidah. There are so many beautiful words flowing in this sanctuary right now. And as an opening to our silent Amidah, I listen to the wind of my soul. Where I'll end up, where I think only God really knows. I sat upon the setting sun, but never, 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 I never wanted water once. No, never, never, never. rise in body or in spirit, finding a spot at the window, wherever you'd like to be. We'll start at your own prayers, page 25, going through page 31, or the words in your own heart, and please be seated when you are ready. Take your time. You are still davening, please allow our words to accompany you and not interrupt you. As we turn to the words of Misha Berach on page 130, our prayer for healing in moments of illness or struggle or uncertainty. May this prayer surround those we love and all who are in need with strength, comfort, and renewal. As a community, we are praying for the healing of Rabbi Carey, Barbara Nath, Tom Mullen, Alan Feldman, Stanley Roth, Randy Swartz, Philip Reed, Robin Bergman, and we're so glad you're here tonight, Andy Birch, Karen Grossman, David Rome, Karen Owen Schwartz, Nan Owens, Paul Schlichtman, Liliana Walheim Martinez, Paula Small, Ethan White, Joe Mansfield, Lynn Bishop, Richard Schur, Richard Milbauer, Neil Daniels Midman, Deb Midman, Debbie Gilman, Andy Jeff, Annie Graham and her family, Anya Kabel, and Sue Boardman. And if there are loved ones who you'd like to speak their name aloud, please raise your hand and be honored to call on you. We'll start on this side over here. Naomi.
Heavenly Father, Peter Costanza.
Thank you.
Kathy Cooper.
Caroline. Thank you. Karen. send these healing words out wherever they are needed.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Mekor Avraham Le'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
This poem is called Delight. Delight. I am so happy that it hurts. In Monsters, Inc., a human toddler shrieks with laughter. Her excitement is so powerful that somehow it short-circuits the electricity, and the monster's entire apartment building goes dark. I am not a monster, but I too have the ability to short-circuit the building. My own laughing, which has become incessant, and my excitement, which is also followed by a deep weariness, a darkness in and of itself. I am with my father at the Botanical Gardens in Wellesley. The pink flowers are so pink, and the tree in the center is so tall. I'm just so grateful to be here. I bet someone would drive 100 miles for this. Chores seem impossible once we get home, after having had the chance to see such wonder. How does one sort laundry right after having won the lottery? I go for a 4-hour bike ride to clear my thoughts. I go to Arlington, then Belmont, then Waltham. I still cannot fold the laundry. I decide to take a short nap, my earphones playing heavy metal to match the mood. When this doesn't work, I take these butterflies I got from the dollar store. When you turn them on, they make flashing lights. And I put them on my window and watch the monarchs blink, yellow and pink. My excitement lasts into the next day, and I tell my friend about the gardens, but I'm so passionate in my explanation that he thinks I'm flirting with him. I text my ex to tell her about the gardens, but the text is so long and unwieldy that it verges on improper. I am so in love with the universe, but the universe doesn't seem to be responding back. The pills they give me are pink and round and come in doses of 300 milligrams. The gardens are still out there, still glorious, but it feels more like a book I read a year or two ago, and less like being in the middle of a Merchant Ivory movie. As time goes on, my happiness becomes slowly cumulative rather than existing in emphatic bursts. It connects rather than isolates. No one else really wants to worship Wellesley's botanical gardens. To feel delight, but also to feel your feet firmly on this earth. To know contentment. For these small miracles, I will always be grateful.
It's almost hard to contain all that is being shared tonight. We turn to the bottom of page 31 for the words of Oseh Shalom. And Alia, we're wondering if you would want to come up to join your brother for this. May the one who makes peace in the heavens make peace with us right here.
Oseh Shalom Bimroma Huya Aseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen. May the one who makes peace above make peace descend on all of us, and Israel. Let us say Amen. Oseh Shalom, who makes peace above, make peace descend on all of us, and Israel. Let us say Amen. Oseh Shalom, who makes peace above, make peace descend on all of us, and Israel. Ve'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom, Bimroma, Huya Aseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. Ve'imru Amen.
There are all kinds of cycles of time that happen here, and we're going to celebrate one tonight. Many of you know that for this last year, we have had Helen German here with us pretty much every Friday night. And Helen, it is hard to believe that it has only been 1 year since you joined us on the last Friday of June, so we were almost to that year anniversary. And Helen is going to offer us a brief spiritual journey.
When the people in the tent told me where to find God, I was not having a great day. The date was June 7th, 2025. The sky was overcast, and I just attended my college orientation. I had shown up on campus feeling prepared, but by the time the event finished, I realized that I didn't actually know what I wanted to do at college. My grandfather drove me back home, and as I rode in the passenger seat, I tried my best to come up with a plan for my future, without much success. Overhead, the gray clouds opened, and it started to rain. At an intersection near our house, I asked my grandfather to drop me off, because it was town day. I could see the booths lining a street in the distance. He asked me in return, "Estás segura?" meaning, "Are you sure?" A valid question, considering the weather. I looked around at the puddles forming on the concrete, and for some reason, which I could not articulate to him or to myself, I answered yes. As I walked through the streets, I wasn't searching for anything in particular, but one tent caught my attention more than the others. The banner at the front read Temple Shir Tikvah, and the people inside told me it was the name of a Reform synagogue right here in my town. It piqued my interest, but a few things gave me pause. Though I am Jewish, I had never been to a synagogue before, and my knowledge of Judaism was, in a word, minimal. With my vague, uninformed notions of what religion involved, I could only imagine uncomfortable wooden pews and moralizing lectures. Still, I told them I would check it out before continuing on. I soon had a more pressing matter to distract me as the downpour grew heavier and permeated through my shirt and my socks and, it seemed, my skin itself. Finally, I arrived home, tired and waterlogged. My mother admonished me for wandering around in the rain for no good reason, which I thought was fair. But even as I stood there, more soaked than I'd ever been in my life, I felt somehow that I had been right to come to town day, although I did kind of wish I had brought an umbrella. 2 weeks later, on June 20th, I took another walk, this time to Temple Shir Tikvah, for the Solstice Shabbat. It didn't look much like my idea of a temple, just an ordinary house next to a parking lot. But I'd soon learned that most of what I'd expected of a religious service prior to that day was wrong. This wasn't only a place for solemn worship. There was room here for poetry, too, and laughter, as well as the troubles we aspired to heal, for our hopes and our losses, and the warmth of existing in each other's company, for the last rays of sunlight reflecting off the pond outside as we prayed in silence, and as we filled the sanctuary with music. At first, I couldn't find the right lyrics in the book I held. The people near me noticed and whispered the page number. The songs were in Hebrew, a language unfamiliar to me, and I stumbled over them, but I sang anyway, not caring that I didn't know the meaning of the words or the proper melody or rhythm. Led by the cantor as she strummed her guitar, my clumsy voice joined those around me with more confidence and practice than mine, and the sounds flowed together like a river. After the service ended, the usher came over to me and asked if I had enjoyed it. I tried to say that I had, but I found it difficult to speak, so I just gave her a thumbs up. She introduced me to the rabbi and the cantor, who both welcomed me to the temple. I talked to several members of the congregation, too. When I mentioned that this was my first time at Shir Tikvah, they'd tell me they were glad to have me there. And each time, I'd say, "I'm glad to be here." The words were true, but they hardly captured how I felt. I hoped they knew how much I meant it, that in this temple, something had shifted in me, somewhere deep inside. I've known that I'm Jewish for nearly as long as I can remember, but as someone from a mostly non-practicing family, I had never quite felt it, until that evening, sitting among the congregation, surrounded by their language and symbols, their songs and rituals and prayers. For the first time, Jewish was more than just something I was, it was something I did, as an active participant in an ancient, rich tradition. And it was something I shared with the people in this temple. Here, I found connection, community, and a solid place to rely on when the world outside feels ever more unstable. Though I didn't know it yet, I think that's what I was really searching for when I walked through my town that rainy day last June. An ill-advised choice, maybe, but I'm grateful I made it. I'm grateful for all the choices that led me to where I am now, a member of Shir Tikvah, and for the moment, a student majoring in liberal arts. I'm still not sure what my future looks like, but I'm determined to meet it wherever it takes me. And I have somewhere I can go through this and all other uncertainties to find a beacon of peace, shining like a lighthouse in the dark. When the door is opened and I walk inside, I know I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. Thank you.
We are so grateful. You were in that rain at the Winchester Town Day 1 year ago. You have changed our community, Helen, and we are so lucky to have you here. Thank you for sharing that. And I believe there are a few people who have brought in poetry to share, and if you did, please come on up here to share it with us.
Well, you know I couldn't skip this. It's been a sort of hellish couple of week, without a lot of light, and so I needed light. And I needed a prompt, so please forgive this title to my poem in advance. I'm asking you to forgive me. The title is Delight in Delight and the Dark. Absolutely odd. Oh, I'm sorry. It's an abecedarian, which some of you know what they are, some of you don't. It's an acrostic A to Z, and it was designed with the thoughts of the acrostics in the Torah. Absolutely awed by God's creation of light and dark, or maybe the Big Bang, and then the leisurely exposition over billions of years, gases and clashes of matter and antimatter, matter minimally more maximal, creating darkest dark, no light able to penetrate its gelatinous goopy fog for eons, until eventually the universe cools enough for the granting of travel visas to light, finally able to wander freely, darting hither, thither, and yon, thus enabling God to separate light from dark, declaring day and night, each falling from the heavens, with brilliant displays, white light dispersing into its elemental colors in their full glory, inviting and enticing a light show of epic proportions, just as rainbows hover in the sky after a rainstorm, if we are lucky. Kaleidoscopic colors pushing aside dark gray clouds and rain, creating lustrous post-storm light show, evoking imagery of leprechauns and pots of gold, myths and folklore of old, lighting our lives with absurd and delightful tales, narrations of nuanced notions to expand elemental bright light and deep dark. Over and over, day after day, season after season, year after year, light and dark poke their sleepy heads out from their cozy beds, wowing us with waves of quiet. Then stunning, rising and setting, dark turning to light and vice versa, creating Roy G. Biv grandeur. Reds, oranges, yellows, greens, blues, indigos, and violets, striations streaking across skies, light's daily birth and muted temporary cessation. Tepid images fading as sun sleeps and dark wakens, allowing weary eyes to rest as undying light makes its way around the earth. Alarm clocks awaken others. vanquishing sleep and birthing their daily routines, whether working or walking through woods with dappled sunlight rippling through leaves, creating X-rays of ancient forest floors, gently exhuming muted colors and textures, yearning to breathe free, celebrating dim yet extant existence of much more than zealous searching exposes to our everyday eyes.
I have no working title for this, but it sort of explains what I've been up to, I guess, sort of my whole life, but also, like, the past 4-ish years, so. Do feel free to suggest titles to me afterwards. A stage is somewhere you can be anyone. A gymnasium, an auditorium, a church basement, your bathroom mirror. Even a little box on a screen if you have to. A place where, for the story's sake, I am a pretty princess, a brave knight, a wicked witch, a bridge troll. Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. And you believe me because I said so. A stage is somewhere I can be anyone. I take off my worries like an old coat, step out of the wings, and feel joy radiate from the soles of my feet up through the top of my head. A stage is somewhere I can be anyone. A little girl, an old man, a hero, a villain, until the lights go up and myself takes a bow.
So this was a poem I wrote after a real interaction at a bakery, but stopping by the bakery. The cinnamon buns boast about their oozing layers of sticky happiness, and the cookies call out about the unalloyed joy of melted chocolate. But what can compete with a homemade Rice Krispie treat? The chewy crunch sticks in my teeth, leaving a marshmallowy trail lingering late in the day. I take my sweets, wishing the cashier a cheery new year. He smiles and shares that he is just happy to be alive, that each day here is all he can ask for, and that may be the sweetest morsel of all.
Anyone else? Well, that was a very sweet way to end. All right, how many days till winter solstice? Poetry Shabbat, poets start now. We turn, as we begin to end this service, to the words of Mourner's Kaddish on page 44. Kaddish reminds us that love does not end when a life ends. Memory endures, relationships continue to shape us, and community helps carry us through the loss. In this week, we are remembering Florence Wolfson, Debbie Mendez's beloved mother, mother-in-law to Carlos, and grandmother of Rebecca and Edith. In this time of Shloshim, we remember Nathan Rome, beloved husband of Bonnie Alpert, and we remember Jay Zitnik, beloved brother of Hai Zitnik. The yortzites tonight include Daniel Klepner, beloved father of Andrew Klepner. This is his first yortzite. And it is the yortzite of Sue McHugh, wife of Steve McHugh, mother of Callie and Rachel, grandmother of Daisy, and beloved temple member and friend to many of us here. This is her fourth yortzite. In this year of memory, we remember Mark Frater, Diana Sanders, Connie Stolo, Susan Bloom, Ed Snow, Joel Zauderer, and Hannah Hyman Adler. And if you are observing a yard site tonight or feeling someone very close to you, please raise your hand. Be honored to call on you. We'll start over here on this side of the room. Sandy.
Sarah Kianowski, it's her first year. Jerry's cousin Daddy Barkley and my uncle Charles Castle.
Thank you. Yeah.
Jan Amsterdam and
We rise now in body or in spirit to honor those whose memories remain a blessing in our lives. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chaye chon uvyome chon, uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam olalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal. Shemei dekudisha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing, and you may be seated. Just for a sec. So just a few quick announcements. First of all, thank you to our poets and poetry lovers who brought in such beautiful words tonight. A big mazel tov to Avi and a mazel tov to the Shustef family on this momentous occasion, and thank you for leading the service so beautifully with me tonight, Avi. After this service ends, there will be a meditation session following. There's a Oneg Shabbat waiting for us downstairs. Spend about 10 minutes down there, and then we'll gather around the flickering flames of the Shabbat candles. Marcy, you're leading tonight. Be led by Marcy Kaplan. And there's no meditation experience required or needed, and everyone is most welcome to join in for about 20 minutes. There is Torah study tomorrow morning at 10:30, both in person in the library and online. And there are still camping sites left for our annual camping trip at White Lake State Park in New Hampshire, which is the weekend of August 7th to 9th. So if you are interested, please register for that. Next Shabbat, June 26th, is our last one here in the sanctuary with me and with Rabbi Carey. But a summer of goodness awaits our community. There's an array of potluck Shabbat dinners, Zoom services with Lev DePaulo, and there will be one in-person Shabbat service at 7:30 on July 31st with Rachel Rubenstein, who has been our Kahila leader for the last few years for High Holidays. So as Debbie Mendes said when she was co-chair of the Ritual Committee, we will be keeping the lights on all summer long here at Shir Tikvah, so please find your way here. And let us end singing to these angels, the Shabbat angels who come and bless us with peace. Shalom Aleichem, page 49. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Kiddush.